Welcome to the Series 12 panel discussion, and today we are talking about Episode 3, Orphan 55 by Ed Hine. And today I have with me Joey.
Hey!
Jacob.
Hello.
And Jerry.
No hablo inglés.
So
¿Cómo estás?
This is the J episode, as you can tell. Right, so Joey and Jacob
So Dylan is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah, look, I'm just all-encompassing. I may as well not have a name. I'm like God, really. So the point is, Joey and Jacob, they have channels. Go check them out in the description. But after you watch this video, and dislike Joey's videos. Just come on. Right. So we're going to talk about Orphan 55. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is the Doctor in this episode, which I think there's actually something new and interesting to say about Jodie's Doctor. But let's see what you think first, Joey.
I think Jodie overall it was a vast improvement. I mean, for me at least, I was really enjoying her in Spyfall Part 2, but this one really finally toned her Doctor down. Only took until the third episode of her second fucking series, but it is what it is. I mean that doesn't take away from the episode, of course, but I mean I think it's a big improvement because we finally dropped the really cringy jokes. I don't think she really called them fam at all in this episode, did she?
No, she didn't.
And overall, just the writing is sharper, and I think that's something to really appreciate. I don't know, and actually, I think that played to Jodie's strengths because she is just generally of everything else I've seen her in. She's generally a more serious, dramatic actor, and I don't know why more writers haven't taken advantage of that, and Ed Hine most certainly has here. She played it extremely well. Again, most of it due to the writing, and I think really sold me at least on the drama of the episode, and I was really taken in by the performance in particular.
I've got to agree.
I'd also say she had a really good doctorish moment, right in the middle where she was talking to Kane, but Kane wasn't responding, so she's basically talking with herself and working through what the planet is. I thought that was just a really good doctorish moment.
Yeah.
I just felt this was the first time she's really been the Doctor. I mean, Joey liked her in Spyfall Part 2. I didn't. Whereas I felt here she really was the Doctor. They cut out all of the cringy words she was saying. And they've had less jokes, and when she has had jokes, they've actually been funny this time. Rather than just it's somebody's liver, it's actual entertaining lines, like the stuff about the weird virus thing.
I mean, I love
where she's I can make you out of a tin of Spam. It was
yeah. I mean, even right down to the very beginning, I just loved the opening with that fucking tentacle thing in the TARDIS, and I didn't know it was their mating season. That actually kind of made me chuckle. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And it's but not only have they done less jokes, but actual good jokes. They've also given her a lot more serious material to work with. They've actually given her a circumstance that is quite horrific, where she can't be as bubbly and nonchalant as she has been in the past, and it was really good to see that side of it, as she played it a lot better than she has in any previous stories. And it's all down to the material, and it's down to Ed Hine being really the only writer in the Chibnall era to properly write the Doctor, in my opinion.
I think if I could quickly go back on, I mean, I won't spend too long on it. I just want to talk about my enjoyment of her in Spyfall Part 2 compared to this episode. I think in Spyfall Part 2 you put her more in a very it's a very different situation. And so it is her facing off against the Master in such an intimate way feels like how the Doctor would be written there. This just throws the Doctor into any given adventure. This is how I would want the Doctor to be written, and unfortunately it hasn't been how she's been written in standard adventures up to this point. But yeah, I think overall the characterization was stronger for a standard adventure here.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do with Jodie's Doctor. She still needs a lot to make her distinct. But if they can write her in other episodes like they have here, I'm going to have much less complaints, because I genuinely really enjoyed her here. And if we get more like that, I'm not going to have as much of a problem with her Doctor anymore.
Yeah, I think, in the sort of context of, in terms of relationships with all the other main cast, I think she's really come to be her own. You can tell, just from the get-go here. I mean, I've not seen any of the parts of Spyfall. This is my first taste of what are we on, series 12 or 11?
12.
I can't even fucking remember. 12. Yeah, you can tell that, in this band of friends, she really is. She's the hub here. She's the spider at the web. I think her taking proper command has been really good.
Yeah. I did like her immediate jump into action when Ryan was in danger, and like that immediately set her off. Like up and like I feel like a lot of other doctors like landing in like seemingly the ideal spa place, they would be a bit thrown off at the start, but she doesn't like actually start criticizing the spa itself and Tranquility as a place until one of her friends is in danger, and she immediately takes on a more serious tone from that moment on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the first. I'm pretty sure this is one of the first times we've had something really positive to say on Jodie Whittaker's Doctor in a panel discussion, and I'm very glad somebody finally worked out how to write for it. The only problem is it might just be Ed Heim, and the rest of the series she might just revert back to how she's been, but we'll see.
Well,
I can remember in It Takes You Away, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was mostly good as well.
Yeah, it's very much this writer knowing what he's doing with the Doctor.
Yeah.
And I think in Spyfall you can kind of see Chibnall maybe learning from Heim a bit, but not as much as he should, because Spyfall, I will say, was a bit of an improvement over Series 11 for the Doctor.
I think specifically in part one, for the most part, it was all the same as far as.
So I hope this becomes a trend and it continues.
Yes, definitely. All right, so I think that's everything to say on Jodie Whittaker's Doctor in this story. It's very positive for once. But now we're going to move on to the companions and how they were handled in this story. Do you want to start, Jacob?
Okay. I think Ed Heim did the best he could because one of the big problems with this episode is that it's a one-parter and 3 companions is really hard to handle. I will say I think Yaz interacting with the old couple at the very beginning was a nice moment for her. Ryan getting that virus and having that sort of flirty relationship with her name was Belle, right?
Yeah, Bella.
Tricks of
Bella.
Well, I mean, Bella is how we knew her from most of the episodes.
Yeah. That I think that was great, and I think Ryan getting that virus and setting up that virus was good. And I think I liked Graham the most because there was just.
Well, I just really like that he was the catalyst for like them going there in the first place. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I got some coupons. We're gonna go."
Yeah, like where did he get those from? He's collecting weird space coupons. It's the most weird man thing I've ever heard.
Well, also like his immediate concern for Ryan when he notices Ryan isn't there.
Yeah, I really did like the little moment where Graham was looking for Ryan, and like when they found each other, the immediate hug. It was just like it was an unspoken moment. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it's this nice building of their relationship from It Takes You Away, like. That the entire.
I saw someone complaining on Twitter. That Ryan was back to calling him Graham again. I'm like, does what he calls him matter? Like, it's down to how he feels about him that makes the difference. It's not little lines like how they address each other. This doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's not. Him saying Graham in this is different from the way he would say Graham in Series 11. Like it was.
Yeah. Full of affection rather than very distant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I felt that the companions were quite well. At least Graham and Ryan were really good in this episode. I felt that they really dropped off in Spyfall, but they've picked back up where they left off in Series 11 because they were definitely one of the highlights of that series.
Well, especially Ed Heim being the one that wrote like the sort of culmination of their character
real
up to that
series
point.
11 finale.
Yeah, exactly. Like him being the one who had written that episode, he really had a strong grasp on where they were at as characters.
And Yaz still has nothing to do again. So we thought she was finally to get something to do after she had that little interview with Daniel Barton and Spy. But then just completely back to the status quo.
But even then, Graham and Ryan really didn't have that much to do either. That's just.
I said this on Twitter. Like, Chibnall literally only wrote those 2 scenes in Spyfall Part 1 to respond to the criticism so that people would shut up. But no, she has done nothing else beyond that point.
She still doesn't have a character, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think regardless of what she has or hasn't done, I think it's quite ironic that, Jodie Whittaker has stopped to the cringy nicknames like Fam and all that, but I think that this is the first episode where I truly think that, these guys could be, like a happy family in the TARDIS. I think that... I think they have all banded together. Sorry if I'm being repetitive, but it's just a point that really resounded with me throughout the full thing. I think that
that's interesting because I thought they were quite on edge towards the end. I didn't quite get like happy family towards the end.
Towards the start, yeah, but that's not.
Oh yeah, at the start they were fine.
Yeah. But that's not to say that people as close as that are as tight knit as that 24/7. To be as sort of tight as that all the time is really sort of unbelievable. So giving them some conflict, some sort of like bittersweet Would you say it's bittersweet towards the end? I don't know they survived, but it's still.
I'd agree. Yeah. I'd say at least the speech at the end was bittersweet. Like Jodie's still giving them hope in the end. But I think, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I will give the team this as a whole. Like it doesn't fall into that 3 companion trope that really annoys me in the 5th Doctor era of like, oh yeah, it's three people crammed to the TARDIS, they fucking hate each other. No, why would you just hate each other 24/7? Why would you do nothing but complain about the other 3 people on the ship?
But
it
also suffers from the same thing as the 3 people crammed in the TARDIS, and they barely get any development.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But yeah, I think it's at least better in that regard that they don't bicker all the time.
Yeah, it's like, just, come on, do something interesting with Jodie and Yaz. It looks like we're starting to get somewhere with Jodie, but bloody hell. I mean, is Yaz just cursed? Is Yaz just cursed to never get any development? Even when they do episodes that are trying to focus on her, it just focuses on her family and not her.
Yeah. The Demons of the Punjab. Like, I love her family, and I can't get behind her character.
Yeah, even episodes that
even episodes that are supposed to focus around her, like Arachnids in the UK, like I'm still just enjoying her family more.
Yeah. Oh well. Anything else to say on the companions before we move on?
I think they're all fine.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the plot of this episode. Would you like to start, Jerry?
Well, where do we start? Do we start with the plot, or do we go into the twist later on? Because that's where
both.
It's a hard one because I thought that it was going to be a lot more interesting than it actually was. Like I thought, even though I was seeing all the reactions on Twitter and stuff, no, it's being too political, but I thought it was going to be some sort of satire on, I don't know, consumerism or whatever, like trying to sell the planet to, some sort of like alien buyers or whatever, but no, it turned into a sort of nuclear fallout story. I was like, it was. I wouldn't say it's bad. It just, I don't want to say that it wasn't what I was expecting, and I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get what I wanted, but I wouldn't say that it was bad. For what it was, I think it was pretty good. The fact that, like when the shields break down and you see, it's a completely different environment, it's like that. It really gave off a sort of, I don't know, really Tom Baker vibe towards me. That's something you would see in a sort of Philip Hinchcliffe era story, where it's like, that would be, I think quite a nice setup, like midway through, the first part of a 4th parter to see that.
I'll agree with the most part for that. People keep complaining about the political allegory. That's not the issue at all. I mean, the issue with the whole episode, I think, for me at least, is it is extremely rushed, and I am not attached to anyone. Definitely.
I'd argue it needed a second and third episode to do the story that it was telling.
I mean, you could do it in 2 episodes because, the spa stuff is your part 1. We needed to spend more time there. We needed to see our characters in a state of grace.
The danger appeared straight away before they got settled in.
We needed to see the character. Yeah, we needed to see the characters in a state of grace, to understand how the action is throwing off their lives. What I would have liked to have done, as far as the pacing, if we did have another episode to fill up the runtime with, maybe just tell a mini adventure with the Doctor and the fam, so to speak.
I'm kicking you out of this call, Joey.
Okay. My point being, just tell the story with the Doctor and company with whatever the tentacle thing was at the beginning. Tell a mini story with that as we move back and forth on the scenes with the supporting characters side by side. Get to know them as people before we throw the Doctor and company into the situation.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, what was really frustrating for me was just the idea, the core premise was brilliant. Somebody making a spa on a desolate planet, which is actually a cover for a terraforming project, so she can become absolutely rich by selling this new planet, by alleviating terraforming. That is brilliant. The problem is, the execution is pretty bad, because they have to move at such a breakneck pace. We don't really get to know anything. We don't get all of this to sink in. As we're saying, the climate change kind of thing, it would have been so much more effective had they not had the really on-the-nose speech at the end, which I feel was, too on the nose. I didn't you don't need to spell it out like that. What you can have is, if the story is longer, you can kind of give little telltale signs that kind of tell that story of what's happened. And then people can kind of digest that themselves as, people with actual brains, shit, climate change is going to fuck up this planet. Maybe we should do something about it. Is a lot better than Jodie turns and you know what, you little pricks, fucking do your recycling. Which is better?
Okay, but I will give it this. I will say that, like, given the short amount of time the episode had, Edheim writing that scene at the end to encapsulate what the story was trying to do at such a breakneck pace, it was the best option. Like there was no other way you could have given the message in the time frame that the episode had to give its message.
Yes, but that's still a problem. 45-minute syndrome, or 50-minute syndrome. Now,
No, it's a 45-minute syndrome. The episode was only 46 minutes long.
It's like, come on, at least put your extra 4 minutes in. This was nowhere near long enough for such a good idea. That
Although I will say, like, I think the scene at the end, it does make sense. Like the speech is okay. Yeah, it's a little bit on the nose, but Graham Ryan and Yaz being so shaken up by the events, they do need some sort of consolation. What Jodie says isn't quite consoling, but it's helpful, but still, like, it's grounded. I think it works for me.
Mm-hmm. I think what would have been better is, rather than have Jodie turn to the camera and tell us about it, have Graham, Yaz, Ryan talk about it in a very reserved manner. Have them discuss it. Have it not just be the Doctor telling us what to do. Have it be them discuss, like, well, shit. I mean, this is a bit fucked, isn't it? I feel that would be much more effective, having them reflect on it rather than having Jodie just tell, this is what you need to do. Fucking put your glass bottles in the glass bin,
It also doesn't help that the speech at the end was directed like Jodie speaking right to the camera.
Yeah.
Like
it could have been played as she was speaking.
And I think the worst part about that is that the Doctor was president of Earth twice and did fuck all about it.
Yeah, if the Doctor really does care so much about saving the fucking planet, you think he'd spend more fucking time actually, like, doing something to save the planet than just, like, fight off the immediate imminent threat and then just saying, oh, no, I'm not president of Earth now. No.
Yeah, not my responsibility.
Not my problem. But which, actually,
I would blame Moffat for that, because the Doctor is president of Earth.
I will say that also the speech kind of is, though, saying humanity has to fix it themselves. I won't always be there.
Yeah.
But
I agree with the sentiment. It was just far too on the nose. They needed to do it in a much more subtle way, which didn't treat the audience like a bunch of slack-jawed idiots.
Too political! Don't do this! I was much better in 2005.
You see, that's the problem, though, because people wouldn't complain about this being so political if it wasn't so on the nose. If it was
Dylan, they would have, no matter.
Dylan,
Well, okay, some people would have, like the Not My Doctor people would, but there's other people who I've seen saying, that was a bit on the nose, who probably wouldn't. If it was done better, they probably wouldn't be complaining if it was done better.
I really agree with the one point that was made there that I think we all saw on Twitter of like, at least it's not Zygon inversion.
Oh yeah,
it could have been a lot more.
But 15 fucking minutes long, so I mean, there is that.
It could have been worse.
Oh, I think it ended way.
When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel.
Oh my lord! Right. So.
I think it ended, just to cap it off. I think it ended way too sort of abruptly, in my opinion. So I was expecting us to like we weren't given like a proper sort of, like, I don't know, farewell to Trixabel and what's her face, Kane. I thought we were gonna have like one last scene with them. Like,
actually, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Where did Kane come from at the end?
We'll talk about the side characters next.
Okay, all right.
So, but it was like, rather than getting closure on the episode, we'd rather just have the door slammed on our face. It's like, right, it's over now. Fucking sort your shit out, pricks.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, is there a topic for, like, the monsters? Like, are we talking about?
Yeah. Let's just talk about the monsters now. It's part of the plot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're the strongest aspect of the plot itself. I think they work so well.
I'm not sure.
No.
I love them as an idea.
Good idea. They look kind of scary in a couple scenes.
And the design is great. I love the costumes.
But the scene that really kind of deflated it a bit for me was when Jodie's able to reason with it and get it to stand in the cage. I understand the intention of that scene to kind of, show, like, learning from not being able to, like, getting on with, like, an ecosystem or whatever. But I just feel that kind of... We should be emphasising the fact that these future humans are just so far gone, they're unreasonable. They can't understand us because they've just lost their humanity. They're just barbaric animals. I feel that makes the point resonate much more when they're like that, rather than just have them understand English and like be able to reason with them and meekly get in the cage. I thought that was a bit bollocks myself.
They could have infernoed him into the cage with the fire extinguishers.
Oh, yeah. Well, oxygen extinguishers.
They make a point in the truck, I think, that why do you have like random laser output on your gun? Oh, it's because they're easy to adapt to the environment or whatever. And it's like the only sort of indication is that they're humans that have been mutated by the Fallout. It's like we never see any, like when they're firing the guns, right? Which is like there's plenty of scenes of that. We never see any sort of indication. There's rapid learning. Look at it. They're evolving. They're becoming more than
that's
human.
Another problem. We never see them kill somebody. We never see what they do to that old man. We never get to see them, as you say, adapt to that. So it's another good idea wasted by the fact that A, they don't have the balls to show anything happening, and B, they don't have the time to do it.
I'm going to disagree with that, though, because I do like the idea that they do get killed off screen, and that it is kind of, specifically with the old guy, when they kill him, that's left unimaginable. Like you don't want to see that. And
but I disagree, because how can I take it seriously if I never see what they do? How can I take it seriously?
Because the episode's not a horror story. Like if it was, I would want to see them kill the characters, but it's not about that. That's not what the episode's trying to do.
Or even indicate that
just so that we know what's going on, just so we can take the threat seriously. I mean, the old man, he sounded absolutely chirpy and fine when he was talking to them, saying, somebody please kill me. He didn't sound like a man on death's door. They needed to show it. They need to show the audience why he's at such a state he wants to be killed, why these things are so horrible. You've got to show, don't tell.
I think,
part of that is because you've only got 45 minutes,
which is why they need to be longer. Needs to be more parts.
I think I make this point every single panel discussion.
Yeah, I mean it is too short because it's faster to say, hey, they died than to show them die. Yeah, I get that point.
I don't think. See if they kept if we only seen the torso of the monsters, right? I think the face is really good. Like design wise, I think the face is quite. It's what probably.
Well, I think the design is really quite scary.
Like from the torso up, it looks nice, and I think you don't really like from when my initial thoughts were you don't really need to see them killing anyone. That's fine, but when they zoom out and you see the fucking chubby legs and shit, and it's like, no, wait a minute, I need to. Just go back a fucking minute here. It's like
keep them more hidden. They were better early on in the story when you didn't see their full bodies.
Yeah, but then they're more revealed when we find out that they're mutated humans, and to show that they're more humanoid kind of plays into that.
But they're not really terrifying if I see them having big thunder thighs, though. It's still.
I second that point.
No, that is like
big
I've seen
You see this, Doctor Who fans? This is what happens when you don't follow your fucking diet.
This is what happens with climate change. We all get thunder thighs. I seen someone on Amino, I think, comment that the direction at the start it was very alien-esque. No, aliens. That was it. And it's like usually the direction Doctor Who takes is for the first film, but I didn't really get that. It's like there's one person with a gun shooting at them, and that's about it. And they're not really fighting back; they're just taking people away.
And we don't see what happens. It's a classic case of we need to see what's happening.
It also felt like I don't give them that felt there was a bunch of quick cuts, shots were just kind of going all over the place.
Do you think maybe a lot of shots would make the final cut?
Almost definitely.
It would not surprise me because a lot of the pacing issues partially just felt like it wasn't a script thing. It felt like it was a weird editing thing.
Well, I think it was a mixture of both because it definitely was a story that needed multiple parts, as most Doctor Who stories are. Yeah, right. So, anything else to say on the plot before we move on then?
Are we going to the supporting characters soon?
We're talking
the
about...
dregs should have been hemovores.
Yeah, I agree with that because it would have made so much sense.
That would have been good.
We're already having Series 12 basically be a McCoy season. Let's go the whole mile.
Happiness Patrol next.
Yeah. The Doctor takes on Boris Johnson.
and a cyborg.
Muggle-lump.
Brexit does me. Brexit.
Alright, so we're going to move on to the side characters now, which, in my view, these are some of the worst fucking side characters I've had in a long
Where do we
time.
start?
Would you like to start, Joey?
Yes! Oh my fucking god!
There are far too many.
Jeez, okay, look, I will say, I did enjoy the old couple, because they were the only characters that we saw in State of Grace before they were thrown into the
The old
action.
woman was so annoying, though.
I don't care about that. I just care about the fact that we actually knew them before their lives got fucking ruined.
And the whole plot happened because she left her hat outside.
Yeah. But like, what? Okay, like there's this fucking lady that Ryan's into. I didn't hate her. I didn't hate Bella, but at the same time, just we don't get enough time to know her.
Her motivations were fucked. It's like I don't understand why she wants to do this. Why she is here. What's the point? This needs more explained. This needs a better
fucking terrorist.
Daddy issues. Daddy issues. But with
I thought she was
mother.
I thought she was going to be just a wee eco warrior or whatever, and I think from what it turned out that would have been actually a bit better.
Yeah. And then there's Kane. Like Kane, is a character that this plot should have been entirely centered around, and we barely know her. The most we know about her is that Bella hates her because she's actually her mom, which that fucking came out of nowhere. I didn't give a shit about that. What is that supposed to? Yeah, exactly. Wow, okay. I was watching this with my brother, and when she was like, my mother doesn't even recognize me when she looks at me, we're just like, oh, huh, okay. That's
a message against mixed race couples.
Doctor Who's so political these days.
And then there are the green hair bitches. Oh my god, these green hair people.
What about the fucking furry?
Oh, the furry!
That's got to be an actual furry, because it's clearly not a proper alien makeup thing. Because
they would have just done the Davies cat people again if it was actually supposed to be.
It's literally a furry. It's a furry.
Yeah.
Why is there a furry?
I don't get.
Actually, fun fact, Dylan, that character is actually the start of the cat race that we see in End of the World, or in New Earth and Gridlock. See, she loves cats so much she actually started a human cat race by fucking a cat.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, for fucking really, gosh. I mean, yeah, all these side characters were really shit. They really were.
Here's the thing: they've all got the startings of potential character arcs, but there's no time to actually do anything with them.
And I feel like you could have tightened up the pacing of this episode as a whole if you just cut the furry and the green hair dad and son. I can't remember their fucking names because we only really
generic character arcs like people get married. Father and son learn to respect each other.
Expecting a lot more from
because all we really need is are the old couple for the main plot to kick off. You need Kane and Belly, supposedly for your family drama. But I feel like I'd buy that more if we had more time to know them. And you need to cut the other characters. You have to make the sacrifices in order to get to know these other characters, and we just don't.
I thought they would have used James Buckley a lot better, because I came into this pure hype that was like, oh, Funny and Betweeners Man is going to be in it. It's going to be just like Caravan Club because they're on holiday. They're going to get loads of minge. But it's like he has the thing with his son. And where the fuck is it? It's like, where have I fucking written it? It's like the son's like, oh, I have fucking daddy issues or whatever, but he has 3 lines, so we don't really. We're not given enough time to
that's the thing. Some of these characters literally have 3 lines.
Yeah, I like
with the son. I'm surprised they're not my Dr. Crown of God. It's like, oh, they're trying to preach that the younger generation is the best.
Oh, it's like the younger generation.
But also, this kid has daddy issues, just like the characters in It Takes You Away. I'm sensing a theme in the anti-single father agenda.
Anti-single father agenda.
It's written by Ed Hive. It's happening. Yes, it's.
They fucking got a collateral, guys. They hit the anti-single fathers and they hit the fucking anti-mixed race couples. They're fucking. Oh, they're just gunning for everyone, man. Who's next?
Even furries aren't safe.
Anti-furries. Who the fuck is next, man?
Well, this was pro-furry. He wants to convert us all into furries.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I notice how they kill off the furry so quickly. It's almost as if it's just a little representation character before they quickly kill them off. I know what you're doing, Chris Chibnall.
So I'm sensing an anti-furry agenda in modern Doctor Who. I'm not properly represented.
No, but going back to something you were saying, Joey. yeah, you're right about Kane. She really needs to be a much more intimidating and malevolent presence.
Yeah,
Because really,
definitely.
she was doing a really devilishly fucked up thing. It was a very interesting idea, and they should have expanded on it. And they should have had her be like,
with
nasty arsehole.
having. Well, here's the thing, she's clearly supposed to be a character with good intentions, but doing something completely fucked.
Yeah.
Really?
And
I thought she was doing
again,
something really selfish. She was just trying to terraform the planet so she could make some money off it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it was
again,
implied
Jacob,
that she was doing.
Again, Jacob, a very McCoy-esque character. Like, you could see that character in the McCoy era. Just, could have been far better if given more time to develop.
Yep, and 45-minute syndrome, and it's been really bad here. And I think these have to be the characters who have, who have most suffered from it.
Yeah.
Because we don't get to know any of them, and I don't buy any of their motivations.
Oh no!
It's also
we found out what the woman's husband, what her fucking fiance's name was. I mean, she said it enough times.
Yeah, I mean, literally about 75% of her lines in the whole show were his name.
I think Doctor Who tweeted right. They had a Benny count. I think she says his name 16 times throughout the full thing.
Yeah. I remember
16
Actually,
times.
can we talk about the scene where she sacrifices herself?
That's so random.
What even was
Why
that?
does everybody sacrifice themselves in this episode?
Yeah,
It's
although
so weird.
remember, Kane doesn't. She apparently does, but then she
She
comes back
somehow-
And
miraculously
they
at the
never
end.
explain.
Yeah, they never explain. She just shows up in that last scene. Literally just shows up for no reason, is completely unexplained, and she supposedly resolves the plot with Bella. But even then, they're not fully resolved before we close the fucking doors on them, and the Doctor gives her speech.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I mean, the more you think about this story, the worse it gets. Really,
Yeah,
Don't
it's
fight,
another one of
fight,
those
that's
ones
what
where it is such a good idea, and the writing for the Doctor and the companions is quite good, other than Yaz, and it's just been completely let down by the really rushed execution.
Yeah.
It's no good. So, any other thoughts on side characters before we go on to final thoughts?
Benny!
And with that, we'll move on to final thoughts. Would you like to start, Jacob?
I think this is actually. I'd say this is incredibly flawed. So many issues, but I think overall it's still a decent episode. Don't get me wrong. These are flaws. There are so many ways you could improve this and make it better. But comparing, it's just the big problem. Basically, it has one issue, and that's 45-minute syndrome. That's
And that
all the
affects
problems.
everything.
And that affects everything. If I were to give it a score out of 10, it would probably be a 6 because I enjoyed it. I wanted more, but not for the right reasons because you shoved it into this thing. We need a series that is entirely two-parters.
That isn't like Series 9, because everybody always brings that up, but they weren't proper two-parters, because most
They
of them had
weren't.
nothing to
They
do with
weren't.
it.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about how Ed Heim got totally fucking Jamie Matheson in this? He wrote the most popular episode in the previous series, and then Chibnall probably really wanted him to do this one, and then there was probably some severe tampering behind the scenes as far as his next script.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I'd also It Takes You Away was pretty controversial too. A lot of people didn't like that story.
Really only the Not My Doctor crowd, I think.
Yeah, but they didn't like any of the stories.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, really, I thought It
just
Takes You Away was pretty
re-release
well
a
liked.
classic story, but just have Jodie in it, and then they'd still hate it, even if it was like Genesis of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Too political, it's got Nazis in it.
It's got the Nazi allegory. It's portraying the Nazis as evil.
They're making out the crippled people
How
are
dare
Nazis.
they
It's
portray
not
the
fair,
Nazis
it's too
as evil.
political.
Right, so would you like to give your final thoughts to Jerry?
Yeah, pretty much what Jacob said, to be honest. Nothing much more to add. It was enjoyable for what it was, but I think it was more of a sort of standout for the TARDIS crew more than anything else. The plot was interesting. That's not to say it was, executed well.
I will say I'll remember it more than most of Series 11.
That is very true. That's actually, I think you've put your finger on it there, Jacob, because there's something, even though there's a lot of problems with this episode, there's something that maybe like it a little bit more than a lot of Series 11 episodes that maybe weren't as much of a hot mess in terms of execution. I think it's the fact that it's actually memorable.
Yeah.
Do you got a rating out of 10, Jerry? Or?
Oh no, I don't believe in ratings out of 10.
You've got to do it to like a fifth decimal point. Go.
I give it 4 twins of Rassilon out of 20. There we go.
So 2 out of 10?
That would be
well, twos of Rassilon are a different measurement, Jacob. It could be
okay.
It could be a 10.
A 4 tombs out of 20 is actually a 7 out of 10 for us mere mortals, Jacob.
Come on, Jacob. You thought you read Lung Barrow.
I have.
Yeah, I know. Did you not read that page?
It's not in there.
This is a Gallifreyan
measure
review
the
rating
tombs
system.
of Rassilon compared to the pathetic mortal rating it out of 10.
I give it 287 Rasstone Warrior robot arrows out of 1,003,979. There we go.
Right, Joey. Final thoughts of your rating system. Better be as good as that.
Oh jeez. Okay. I'm not gonna have as good a rating. But no. I mean, Doctor and Companions, not Companions so much, but Doctor, vast improvement. Really enjoyed her in this. Companions were okay enough. Ryan and Graham are back to how much I enjoyed them in Series 11. Plot was solid. Could have been really good if it wasn't so rushed. Supporting characters are god awful. Monster design is great, though ever so slightly flawed in how they work into the story. And that's about it. I'm gonna give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Hey.
All right. So I loved Jodie in this. The first time I thought that Jodie was really good. It was brilliantly written for her. Graham and Ryan, they were great, and the idea was great. It's just a shame that the rest of it was just a complete mess. It wasn't long enough. All of the potential, because this is an episode that has so much potential. It's got a writer who really knows how to write for the characters and has a good idea, but just didn't get to execute it properly. It feels like, as we were saying earlier, there might have been a bit of tampering with it in like the editing and directing that cut a few bits that may have made it better. But at the end of the day, this needs to be a two-parter. And if it had been, and if it hadn't been tampered with, Ned would probably get to express himself. It could have been brilliant. But as it stands, bit of a mess, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it 9 Tobermans out of 11.
Hey.
Wait, are you saying Toberman isn't a good measurement of rating your episodes because he's black? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Dylan?
No. It's because Toberman's number 1, so the further down the scale you get, the not as good it is.
Yeah.
Ah, naturally.
That's right. That's very true, Dylan. Hey, Doberman.
Oh, no.
Well, you must be discreet with your rating, understand?
Understood.
Good.
Is that audio?
I am
blackface?
face palming so hard.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Joey, Jerry, Jacob.
Benny!
I think this was the third. This was the third episode panel discussion I've been on.
Yeah, well, maybe you should stop choosing to be on them, Jacob. Did you think about that? Think about that, Jacob?
Yeah. Or we can just make this a trend.
Unsubscribe to Jacob.